Since when?
Alpha Benson growls out the question at his son, who's looking away in shame. I can see Brad swallow as his Adam's apple bobs. Stacy also looks petrified, and tears are beginning to run down her pale face. Her lips wobble, and her whole body is shaking.
The first day of senior year. That's more than a year now. Before you made it with Stacy.
Alpha Benson points out.
And why are we getting to know about this?
He walks over to Brad, and I can see his jaw clenching as he restrains himself from pouncing on him. Why didn't you tell me? My mom turns to me and asks, making me bite my lip in guilt. I had almost forgotten they were here. My parents both have worry and surprise etched on their faces, with a hint of guilt. Why hadn't I told her? At first, I thought it was because Brad threatened me to keep it a secret. But later I realized I was kidding myself. I hadn't told them because I didn't want them to see what a failure I was. My mate rejected me. If everyone knew, they would scorn me for not being good enough to keep my mate. They would say that I was worthless and that's why he left me. This is what happened to other she-wolves that have been rejected before. But it's different for male wolves. If a male wolf is rejected, they won't scorn him. No. Rather, they would call the she-wolf a skank. So either way, the females lose. We love each other. Stacy's weak voice fills the silence, and everyone rotates their head to her. He loves me and not her! She points to me, her eyes filled with hatred as she regards me. She's a mistake! I feel like scratching her face at that statement, but there are just too many witnesses. If you don't shut up, I'll personally rip out your throat and hang your body outside for everyone to see what a shame you are. Luna Sierra's cold tone sends chills down everyone's back. You have both sullied the sacred meaning of the mate bond, so don't you start preaching about love to me. I don't think she ever liked Stacy. Stacy moves back again in fright, and I didn't think it possible, but her face turns even more white. Her lips tremble, and tears roll down her cheeks like a river. Ladies and gentlemen, your future Luna of Lunar Pack. A frightened wolf who can't even stand up for herself and her mate. Ugh, useless. I pity the future of this pack, I really do. With an alpha like Brad and a Luna as Stacy, it'll plummet to the ground. No longer will we be regarded as the strongest.
I see.
His Majesty suddenly speaks while nodding in understanding. Everyone whips their heads to him at that, wanting to know his opinion. He digs his hands into his pants pockets, and his eyes look to me.
Your son rejected this beautiful wolf for her.
He gestures to a pale Stacy.
What a pity.
He shakes his head, making me blush while Stacy got more teary-eyed. Did he just say I'm better than her? I can feel my insides bubble in happiness at being complimented, and I try to hide my blush.
His loss, my gain.
A malicious grin makes his way to his lips, giving him the look of a devil.
If you don't mind, Benson, I would like to claim my mate and be on my way.
I'm not shocked at the way he addresses my alpha. He might look younger than Alpha Benson, but Lycan's age slower than we do, so he might be older.
But, Your Majesty, she's my son's mate. You have to let them be together, otherwise... Enough!
The prince orders with his aura stretched about the room. Every wolf, including my parents, bared their neck open in submission, but I'm still left unaffected. His eyes are darkened as he stares back at my alpha, and I can see his jaw clench.
I'll be going home tonight with my mate, and anyone who dares stop me will suffer dire consequences.
His eyes specifically lock on Brad.
I hope that is clear enough for everyone.
He smiles, wickedly, like he hadn't just laid out a threat. But you're not my mate! I voice out, and everyone's eyes whip to me then. Seriously, am I the only one who knows second mates don't exist? I expect Alpha Benson to have said something now, but everyone's just quiet about it. Maybe they're just scared. And maybe I am stupid for speaking against him after he just gave out a threat. At least my wolf isn't telling me anything. I try to amend as his cold eyes fall on me.
But is she against it?
He cocks an eyebrow at me. Where will I be sleeping? I ask, warily watching him.
Here, of course.
He answers matter of fact as he walks past me to flop on the bed, and he begins to take off his shoe. And you? I nervously ask, dreading the answer. He halts his movement to look up at me with a perfect eyebrow cocked. My palms begin to sweat as I wait for his answer.
Also here.
But that's not possible. I speedily protest with my eyes wide open in fear. If we sleep in this room together, I'm not sure I'll be pure anymore come morning. Reagan swiftly pulls off his last shoe before standing up to tower over my small frame as he walks closer. His stance and aura are intimidating, making me take a step back.
Let's get one thing straight. Just because I didn't mark and claim you in front of everyone when I first saw you, it doesn't mean I'm going to be giving you any space. I'm only letting you walk free without my bite on your pretty little neck, because your wolf is still going through heartbreak.
By now, my back is against the wall as he keeps coming closer to me, and I have nowhere else to go. He traps me with one of his hands beside my head on the wall while I stare up at him. He looks pissed, like he's restraining himself from doing something. His face leans in closer to mine, and our lips are almost touching as he hisses.
But don't think, for 1 second, I'll be denying myself from having you in every possible way I can.
His eyes move lower to my neck, then my breast, and I see them darken in lust. I swallow my saliva in fear as he moves in closer, eliminating any space between us. I feel his lips on my neck sending zaps of electricity down my body, and I involuntarily let out a moan. I snap my mouth shut immediately as my eyes widen in horror. Was that me? I sounded like one of those porn stars. Reagan doesn't stop as he pulls his tongue out to laugh at one spot before taking it between his teeth. My hips of its own accord buck towards him as I gasp at the amount of pleasure that little action brought me. One of his large hands lands on my waist, holding me as he continues to suck and bite at that spot. And this time, I moan louder than before. He pulls back then with a groan to look at my flushed face, and then my neck before smiling in content.
There. Better.
He says and backs away.
I'm going to have a shower. Want to join me?
He flashes me an irresistible smile, almost making it hard for me to reject.
I promise you'll love it.
He coaxes with his voice, taking a sexy low tone that makes my stomach curl. I'm tempted. I'm fine, I'll take one later. I wrap my arms around my body and look away from those tempting eyes.
Pity.
He shrugs before turning to leave to the bathroom. Immediately, he shuts the door behind him, and I flop my butt on the bed with a huff. Why is my life always so complicated? First, my mate, who is an alpha, rejects me. Now a licensed prince has declared me as his. And there's nothing I can do or say about it. No one can help me. Not my parents, not my alpha. I'm on my own. Right now, I wish Lana or my mom was here, just someone I can talk to and express my thoughts. My wolf is unusually silent, and I can barely feel what she does.